my God. I know we are recording, but Carl and Anna, you are, and I love the legacy. I'm speechless.
Aprovechala, Andrés.
I love the legacy that you have made to the music. You are my favorite artist, and
Yeah.
and Carl, I got questions. Oh, Anna, oh my God.
We can
I
make a
wanna-
deal. We can make a deal. So I give you news that they have never been told to anyone, but there will be a new album out in September. Yeah, and when that before or either after that album is out, we can do a proper interview.
I will translate because I'm the official translator of the channel. Jhon, you want to tell more?
But today it's Daddy's Day.
That I got great
thank you,
questions.
Anna,
Don't
¿no?
worry. Thank you, Anna. Well, I will translate. Jhon, que cuando salga el nuevo álbum, ella estará en el canal.
Oh, amazing. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Carl.
Anna, thank you, Kurt. Thank you. Oh my God. Continue, Jhon.
Okay, right.
Okay.
So right now, Anna is just my servant here. She's coming here with water and everything. So
don't worry, Kurt. Jhon got
He's
questions for
working
you.
for me
I got
now.
questions for you. Yeah.
But vad heter han?
Jhon, right?
Tell
Jhon,
Yes.
Jhon.
Tell Jhon that when we're closing in on the album, we can make another interview.
Okay.
Okay, I will tell that to Jhon. Jhon, que cuando salga lo hacen la entrevista. Bye, Anna. You are the best.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Jhon, continúa.
They can actually see you. Det kanske är bättre om du sitter här borta i våran säng. Det finns en lampa där.
Ja.
Va?
Jag går bort.
Bueno, buen día, Carl. Gracias por estar en el canal. Es un gusto, es un honor. Yo quisiera preguntarle acerca sobre el álbum Race of Beauty. Es un álbum.
Ok, caramba, and ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Wow.
Todo bien.
Todo bien.
That's a surprise. No sabías que hablabas español. Dale.
No, yo no hablo español, solamente un poquitito, ¿eh?
Un poquito, ok.
Sí.
Yo le hago la pregunta.
¿Cómo describe la evolución musical y también sobre el álbum Race of Beauty? Muy buena.
¿Deseas que le agregue también lo mío?
Sí, ¿cómo
Okay, this is a mixed question because Jhon is asking about, first, welcome to the channel and thank you for that amazing beginning. But don't worry because this whole interview will be you. And Jhon is asking about Race of Beauty, but also like try to sum it up your career. I want to add something, not only the works that you have made for your own, but also working with other amazing musicians like Jhon and Darmor, like Edvard Oddwire. I mean, they are architects of music. You're an architect of music. So tell us about Race of Beauty and your musical career.
Yeah. Race of Beauty was an album that came out in 1995 on the Sub Rosa label in Belgium. But it consists of two compositions, firstly, that actually was released before in the 80s, in 1983 and 1985, I think, somewhere around there. So it's actually a compilation of older material, plus two pieces that was new, that was never released before. So it's actually like a compilation of 1980s music.
I will translate that part and I will continue. Jhon dice que sobre ese álbum específico es en realidad una compilación, salió en 1995 y es una compilación de trabajos que él había hecho en los años 80. Entonces, si quieres yo ahondo más en lo de la carrera musical, pero
claro.
con lo que yo le había preguntado. Okay, Jhon was also asking about like a resume of your musical career, but I want to add something for the question that is not only your career as a musician, but as a solo artist, but also working with genius. I mean, you had worked with Jhon and Darmor, you had worked with Edvard of Woodwire and another project. So tell us more about working with yourself as a her, and also working with another people, another geniuses of the music.
Yeah. Okay.
I love Jhon. I love Jhon a lot, Edvard, by the way.
Yeah. So we, I mean, I started like in the late 70s to, compose music and of course playing rock and roll music too. And in the early 80s, I also started a label in Sweden called Radium, and we released progressive rock music, funk music, electroacoustic compositions, all kinds of music, mostly from people that were with us. A pause here. Shall I just talk a few sentences and then you translate and then I continue? And then, short.
I got great memory, so you can continue and go ahead.
Okay.
In fact, if you want to go on, I will translate later to Jhon, so don't worry.
Okay, so tell me to stop when I should. Okay, so at the same time when I started my own label, I also put out other people's music, and being I'm not really a musician. I'm more like a composer, right? So and my instrument has always been the studio. But then, as you work with other people, you meet other people, you start to collaborate. It's very much like how musicians do. We like to play with each other and have a good time, right? So I early started to do pieces with a person called Eric Pauser, and we had a small duo called Faus, Phauss, Faus. And we made some records, and we made very like collage kind of projects, conceptual records, and so on. Because I'm also a visual artist, so I've been doing exhibitions, sound installations, working with film and photography, and so on. So I do many things, and so this is in the 80s. I really started to work with other people, and then. We stopped doing Radium because it was involving too much money, and I've never been really a money guy, right? So I started another new label called Ankarström, and Ankarström only put out electronic music like Huffler Trio, John Duncan, all these like more non-rock and roll people, really. I mean, in those days, I didn't really, it didn't really matter what kind of music. I mean, rock and roll for me was just an attitude. And the same attitude we also had when we did electronic music. It's kind of the same. For me, it was the same. I mean, I really couldn't understand why people that only listen to rock music don't like experimental music, industrial music, and so on. Because for me, it was the same kind of attitude, right? So then in the 90s, I moved from Gothenburg, Sweden, to Stockholm. And I started more to develop my own project. I stopped working as a label person, and then I also started a conceptual artwork, which is a country with the visual artist Leif Ellegren. So we started as an artwork a country, and that also meant that we started to collaborate with other people. And then at the same time, I met Graham Lewis of Wire, and we started together with Jean-Louis Huchta, Dungeon Acid guy. We started something called Oxid, which is disco backwards, the word disco backwards. So with Lewis, we started to do very, very long, kind of 10 hours concerts, and we put out 2 records, I think, or 3, 2 or 3 records. And then I continued to work with Lewis until he started off with Wire again. and Wire took too much time from him, so I started to do something else. At the same time, I've been doing solo works all the time, which is like important for me. But I really get tired of myself. So I like to work with other people because they bring in some mystic, because I don't understand other people. So they bring in items in the music and in the art that I don't understand. And I like this. I like things that I don't understand, really. So I started to collaborate with many other artists, like Hans-Joachim Rodelius. He's famous for this German band called Kluster. They did some records with Brian Eno in the late 70s and early 80s. So Rodelius, I worked with him and did 2 albums. I work with Christopher Chaplin, who is the youngest son of Charlie Chaplin, the comedian. And we have done 2 records now, and we're starting a new project. And then I also hooked up with Jhon from Sigur Rós, and we have done 2 albums together so far. And we made the albums on a big boat at Fiji, and then we did a few pieces in Jamaica. So we have been traveling around a little bit together and doing this kind of music. And for him, it was nice because at that time when we did this music, Jhon didn't do anything with Sigur Rós, and he asked me if he should disband Sigur Rós, and I told him that he shouldn't do that because in the future they will reunite again, and that's so stupid, I mean, it's just, it's it's a waste of time. So, but now he's doing Sigur Rós again quite a lot, so and doing it quite well. So I like to work with other people, and now I work with a guy called Chandra Shukla, an Indian, Nepalese American, and we have something called Travelogue, where we travel around and to go to special places and make recordings and do some kind of environmental composition. So we did one record from Nepal, and then we did one from Bali. We did 2 concerts, the Travelogue Hollywood and Travelogue Bologna in Italy, and now we're looking forward to do a new project, maybe in Colombia. I don't know. Depends on if we can find some money. I work with a filmmaker too, and we've done 4 films together, which is very documentary and very. There's no narration in these films, and the last one we did was in Colombia. We went to Remedios up on the mountains north of Medellin, and because I have an ancestor, Von Hausswolff, and he was in Colombia in 1820, and he got a gold mine there, and then he went back to Sweden, and then he brought his wife and his wife's brother, and but it was a scam, right? So he didn't become rich. It was a failure. So he left his wife and his brother in Medellin and went back to Sweden, and then he died in Sweden. And it was actually Remedios that he went to. So I went back there to make a documentary on the gold mines around Remedios and all the police and all the whatever they're doing. And the funny part with that is that I was looking up some of my relatives in Colombia, because since his wife stayed there together with her brother, I kind of realized that maybe I have some relatives there. And so my relative that I am related to was a Colombian guy who died a few years ago. He became very old, but his name was Gustavo de Greif. And I don't know if you know Gustavo de Greif, but he was the chief prosecutor of Colombia and the main enemy of Pablo Escobar when it was around. So it's kind of an interesting story about Colombia, really. So I can send you the links to these films. We did one film in Japan, one in Egypt, and one in Texas, so on. So I continue to collaborate with people, and people I like. Shall I stop there?
No. In fact, John asked me the favor to don't translate because when I let you talk, you will continue. I will say that I remember Gustavo de Greif because all that war against the drug dealer. But it's crazy because I don't know if he's related to a poet called Leon the Great. Leon the Great is one of the yes, he's related. One of the great poets from Colombia.
It's the same.
You want to continue?
It's the same family. Yeah, Leon de Greif, and we premiered the film in Bogota at the Leon de Greif auditorium at the university in 2013, 10 years ago.
Like they say, it's a small world. It's crazy to know that you are related to Colombia. Do you want to continue, or do you want to listen to another Jhon's question?
No, you can translate now and then ask me another a question, because I don't really know where I am just or tell me what you want to know. But no, translate first.
For the translation, don't worry, because Jhon asked me a favor I translate to him later in a phone call. So don't worry.
Okay.
Pues Jhon dice que tranquilo, que si yo traduzco, y dije que no.
Sí,
obviamente, no prometo. Fue increíble. Que si tienes otra pregunta.
Sí, de hecho, bueno, estas dos últimas, y es primero la anécdota al ser el co-curador en el 2001 en la Sala Nórdica en la Bienal de Venecia, que es bastante significativo.
Okay, I love this question because Jhon is asking you about your work as a curator in the Biennale, in the hall at the Venice Biennale, the Nordic Hall at the Venice Biennale.
Okay. Well, that work, the original curators was Tommy Granlund and Petri Nissunen, which are old friends of mine. They are from Finland, Helsinki. And Tommy owns the record label Sacca. And he put out records with some of my friends like Mika Vainio and Ilpo Väisänen from Panasonic, and Jimmy Tenor and these people, right? So Tommy called me in Stockholm here and said, "Hey, do you want to do this Biennale di Venezia pavilion?" And then he said, "Let's all be curators. Let's all be artists, and let's all be curators about this." So we were all curators, and we were all artists. And with Tommy and Petri and me and Leif Elgren from Stockholm, and then Anders Tomren from Oslo. And then we together created the environment in the Nordic Pavilion at the time. So that was the point. And we focused on, and we also collaborated with the with the architect of the house, because it's a really beautiful pavilion. And we realized that let's do something with the architecture as well. So we created this kind of transparency in the architecture in this hall, and we also worked with a lot of sound, which was very ambient and very so that's it. I can't really tell anymore.
Oh, that's great. I think Jhon got a last question. Jhon, como más de tiempo, creo que tienes una última pregunta. Jhon, antes, ¿no? Cuando vayas a subir esto, él nos va a pasar las películas que él ha hecho. Entonces sería muy bonito que hagas una edición.
Thank you so much. It's amazing. Bueno, por último, ¿cómo define su trabajo en una palabra? Y si quieres complementar, este es el momento.
No, yo creo que Jhon is asking me if I got a compliment for this last question. I don't got it. I'm speechless and I'm so happy. But Jhon always do this question from the guests. Try to define your career, your whole work, your body of work in one word.
Okay. Search. To search for something, to always to look for something new, to search. Maybe the why we are alive. This kind of search. Like it can be very esoteric. It can be very artistic. It can be very. It's about life. It's about the question, the big questions in life. I work a lot also with I do a lot of projects. I'm an expert in EVP, which is electronic voice phenomena. So I record voices from the other side, from the dead. And this I also collaborate with an American EVP researcher. His name is Michael Esposito. And we do a lot of EVP projects. We also have an EVP workshop in the Pyrenees Mountains between France and Spain every year. Every September, we are doing this course. So it's search. It's the word.
Porque él habló algo buenísimo. Él hace trabajos en algo que te va a interesar, que es búsqueda, investigación sobre sonidos paranormales.
Sí, es muy bueno, ¿no? Solamente quedan como 10 minutos, pero sí felicitarlo y felicitarlo por esta composición. Es una película, se llama Climatem.
Él la mencionó.
Es una bien, muy buena.
No, pues la cámara es de él. Dejémoslo.
Sí, redes sociales, un saludo para Colombia, invita a la gente a seguir todo el trabajo y bueno, la foto final ya pediremos el favor.
So, send a big hi to Colombia. I don't know, I got the curiosity. Did you make some of your work of EDP in Colombia? Because there is a lot of histories about, in fact, Medellin is a historical place, for paranormal events. You know how the violence sadly has shaped that place. But you had seen the news now, still shaping. So did you do that?
Yes, I've seen the news. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's sadly, man. We live, Jhon and myself, we live in Cúcuta. Cúcuta is in the border with Venezuela, and the war came back in the forest. You know that the jungle here in Catatumbo,
at the border. I read about
we live in the border. Yeah. We live in that border.
I know, and now we have crazy Donald Trump to sending back Colombians and whatever they come from, Mexico and whatever. He's I don't know what he is, I mean.
I know that
he's a psychopath,
Yes, and I say it as a Petro voter because I voted for him. I know sometimes he's very, that because he's so passionate. So he was passionate about the subject, but I am with the president of Colombia, because how will you treat people that travel to North America searching for a great future? Trump treat them like criminals. There is no way. So Petro told him that don't treat them like criminals. And this crazy dude from the States man. I want to ask you, there is like a Colombian artist that you admire, you want to work, and the camera is yours. Tell your social media so people can follow you. Send a big hi to Colombia. It's great to know that you had worked here. Tell whatever you want before the final pitch.
No, totally. I love. I was in Colombia 2 times. And I love Colombia. I think it was amazing. I had an amazing time. I had never been there, but I found Gustavo the Grave, and at LinkedIn actually. So I had lunch with him, and we were talking about our families. And then this was in Bogota, and then we were supposed to go to Remedios via Medellin. We flew to Medellin, but then the person who paid for our flights, she wanted to have the Colombian army to protect us because she was afraid of the paramilitary groups up in the because there were some groups, violent groups that were hired by the gold mine companies up in Remedios and in the areas there. So, but I told them that it's better that we only have one guy, because if you had the military protecting us, then they would think that we are valued, and they will kidnap us. It's stupid. So we had this one guy, Jaime Pinilla, and he was a mining expert and a wonderful guy. He knew everybody up there in Remedios, and he came with us from Bogota. So he went to from Medellin, and the car picked us up, drove us up to Remedios in this area there, and we stayed in a hotel for 10 days, filming, meeting people, meeting a farmer guy who said, "Yeah, come home to me, you can come." And he had horses, so we were riding up the mountains on his horses to some old gold mines there that was, abandoned, that we filmed. And, we had a wonderful time. So I really love Colombia. We also went up to the El Dorado volcano, this volcano that very near Bogota, where the Spaniards believe that the natives have thrown all the gold into this volcano. I don't remember the name of the volcano, but we went there anyway. And it was and then we stayed in Bogota, and had a good time. And then I went back for the film premiere, and also it was great, So yeah, totally greetings to Colombia and all the people there, And I really hope to come back, maybe together with my daughter or with my friend Chandra Shukla, and maybe we can do a travelogue Colombia, and do recordings and compositions there, and work there. It would be fantastic.
Okay.
Oh my God!
One picture. One,
okay,
two.
I'll take off my glasses. No, I'm gonna have my glasses on.
Why are you so blurry? Your face.
Blurry. Am I blurry?
My face?
Two.
No.
Maybe it's me.
Okay. Okay. It's also 1, 2, and yes. Save the moment. Perfect. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
And Anna, I hope your father feels like with the interview. It was amazing. I don't know what he will say.
Yeah, we're gonna go and eat
How do you feel?
dinner now, and he can tell me.
Mr. Carr, thank you. I don't know how do you feel, because that interview was amazing, and we knew about the links between him and Colombia. That was huge. I mean, I didn't know. So.
Because we have Gustavo the Great.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel, Mr. Carr? No, bye. Thank you. Gracias.
Okay, guys.
And
Thank you so much.
See you
Thank
later.
you.
Both of you.
Muchas gracias.
Un placer.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Solo
Muchas
mejores.
gracias.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye, Carl. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.